Good afternoon, everyone. I have a media statement here to read out. I understand that you'll all receive a copy of this at the conclusion of the media conference. So, I'm Detective Inspector Va'aelua. I'm the District Crime Manager for County's Manukau Police. I'm here to provide an update from the homicide investigation launched after human remains were discovered last Thursday, 11th of August, at a Moncrief Ave address in Manurewa. Today's update will be extremely upsetting for the community to hear. So I can confirm we're dealing with the bodies of two young children. From the post-mortem examination, it would appear they were of primary school age. At this stage, I have no further information about their exact age, but we're working on it. Their bodies were concealed in two suitcases of similar size. These suitcases, together with a number of other unowned property, were purchased by the occupants of the Moncrief Ave address in an online auction. Early indications suggest these children may have been deceased for a number of years before being found last week. We also believe these suitcases have been in storage for a number of years. Formal identification procedures are still ongoing, which means police are not yet able to comment on the identities of the children. Once this is completed, our priority is to contact the next of kin. We want to reassure the community our investigation is continuing to ascertain the full circumstances around the deaths of these children. This includes establishing where, when, and how. The nature of this discovery provides some complexities to the investigation, especially given the time lapse between the time of death and their discovery. However, the investigation team are working very hard to hold accountable the person or persons responsible for the deaths of these children. As previously mentioned, the discovery of these children's remains occurred after the residents of the Moncrief Ave property brought unowned property back to their address from a storage facility. We reiterate that the occupants of that Moncrief Ave property are not connected to the deaths of the children. They are understandably distressed by the discovery and they've asked for privacy, and we're ensuring there is support in place for them. We will continue to provide further updates as our investigation allows, but as the community will appreciate, it's still very early stages of our investigation. We're still on a fact-finding mission, and we still have a lot of unanswered questions. I'm now happy to answer some questions, but as you can appreciate, I might be limited as to what further I can provide you.
Detective Inspector, can you clarify whether you have spoken to the previous owner of the storage unit who was paying for it over the past few years?
I cannot comment on that at this stage. That is a very important part of our investigation, which is ongoing.
Are they overseas?
I'm not in a position to comment or give you an answer at this stage.
Can you clarify if Interpol or your international partners have been notified about this tragedy?
I can confirm that much. Yes, we're working with Interpol, and we've commenced inquiries with overseas agencies. I cannot state any further than that.
Do you know how long the suitcases and the bodies have been at that storage unit? Had they been there for years or months?
They've been there for a number of years.
Can you clarify that, sir, if possible? A number of years, are we talking 3 or 4 or 10?
Yeah, I'll go with 3 or 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy to say that.
Do police know the identity of the person or people that were storing gear there or renting it?
Yes, we are following positive lines of inquiry in regards to the storage unit with the assistance of the storage company.
Is that person believed to be in the country?
I cannot say that.
You said primary school age. Could you be more specific?
Look, our post-mortem examination is still yet to be completed. There are obviously challenges in regards to how the bodies were presented. The best we could do is give you, so that's the age of 5 to 10, primary school age, and that's about all I'm prepared to say.
Do you know the genders of the children?
I cannot say that at this stage.
Are they believed to be related?
I cannot. Some of these questions are all part that form the part of identification, which I'm very reluctant to reveal at this stage until we have further.
These children died.
As I've said, we're working on establishing how, when and where.
Can you comment on the state of the bodies? Were they in one piece?
No. That information is very important to the investigation, and I'm not prepared to comment on that.
Detective Inspector, do you have any progress on DNA matches for positive next of kin?
I can say we're making very good progress in that regard, but we're not over the line yet, so that I can stand here and tell you that we have confirmed identification.
Was there CCTV footage available in the police unit?
As part of the investigation, we are looking at canvassing and collecting CCTV, but given the period of time that we've just indicated, it's going to be a challenge in itself. Maybe a lot of CCTV might be lost already.
Detective Inspector, can you comment on the discovery itself? One would assume if human remains had been in a storage locker for some time, the odour itself, I don't mean to be crass here, but the odour itself would tip people off potentially. So is it safe to assume that the remains were packaged? This was a very premeditated and planned situation.
I can't really comment too much on that, Michael. I'm not in a position to comment on that because of the nature of our inquiry right now.
Can you reflect at all, as a police officer of your sort of experience, how upsetting this is for you personally and also for the staff and the forensic experts who have been working on this?
Look, I really feel for the victims of the family of these victims, right here, right now, there are relatives out there that aren't aware that their loved ones have deceased, especially 2 young children. As for the investigation team, I'll talk to them. There are a number of them who are parents. This is no easy investigation, and no matter how long or how many years you serve and investigate horrific cases like this, it's never an easy task. I'm myself a parent of young kids, but we have a job to do, and we're doing our very best to conclude the inquiry and establish exactly what happened to these 2 young children.
Do relatives of the victims live in the South Auckland area?
I'd have to say that's part of the identification that we're trying to work on at the moment, so I can't comment any further.
What other kind of items were found in the storage unit?
I can say that there was household items, personal items. The scene examination conducted at Moncrief, one of the objectives there was to use the rest of the property to establish first and foremost, confirm the links between the suitcases there and the rest of the property. And once we confirmed that, we also we're looking at using the other items to assist us in identification of these children, and that is still ongoing.
Alright, last question. Are there people in New Zealand who will know something about this? Is your feeling that there are people in New Zealand who will know something about this? You said you're talking with Interpol, but are there people in New Zealand who should come forward now?
At this stage, in regards to the nature of this investigation, probably all we can say is there are relatives of the victims who are in New Zealand.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Thanks everyone.